So Mallory, I remember way back when I used to have this, I guess, thought or this mindset that if you only allowed yourself to be positive, to think positive, that if any actual like big time hardship came your way, that it would almost be a weakness because you didn't allow yourself, and again, this was years ago, didn't allow yourself to like deal with these hardships because it was all because to me in my mind I was thinking, well, if a hardship came in, it would just be shutting it out, and you would focus on the positive, and you wouldn't learn how to deal with the actual hardship. But listening to you now, it seems like the positivity isn't a hole or a chink or a weakness in the armor. It is actually strengthening the armor. Do you agree with that, or have you had any of those same thoughts, or people express that to you? Like, how can you remain positive and then be ready to handle a
Yeah,
hardship?
I think that's a really good question. Um, One of the books that I just recently read and really highly recommend is The Power of Positive Leadership. And John Gordon in the book talks a little bit about this. And he talks about how all of the people who have made really amazing positive changes in history have been optimists and positive leadership leaders. And he talks about how the critics and naysayers, when they are constantly looking for things that are wrong, like they're pointing out problems but they're not creating solutions, right? And so you know it's one thing to, I don't think that positivity and trying to find the good is just shutting out anything that's bad, because I don't think that's not healthy, right? Like you have to feel the feelings and and process and work through all of those things. But I think that a big part of that is looking, like having a clear vision for your future and what you want your life to look like, and working towards creating that life that you love. Because when you're just pointing out problems and not finding solutions to those problems, you're not going to be moving forward. And so for me personally, one of the goals that I have is to always be better than I was yesterday, right? And so in order to be better than I was yesterday, or to be better than I was a year ago, I have to be making forward progress. And pointing out problems, or you know not moving forward, is inhibiting me from doing that. So I get what you're saying, and I understand that, how that would be something that you would see as like a, you can't just ignore the big things like a death in the family or a major illness or losing your health, or any of those types of things. They're extremely challenging. But I think we, like along those lines with health and illness and things, I think we know that mindset has a lot to do with recovery. And I mean, the placebo effect is a real thing, right? So telling yourself that you're feeling better, telling yourself you're going to continue feeling better, telling yourself you're making progress, all of those things are so important, and our brain is a lot more powerful than I think most of us give it credit for.
Awesome. I agree. Like I said, I think just listening to you during this interview, you've already reshaped that thought that I once had about how if you are always positive, then you can't handle the negative. So I see that differently now. And thank you so much for diving into that and explaining it, for not only me but also for everyone who is listening to this episode.